If you're following Christ and feel more overwhelmed than your non-Christian friends, you are not crazy. You're just finally awake. The truth is that Christians carry a psychological burden that the world doesn't even notice. While they're comfortable with numbing out, we are convicted to confront ourselves, and while they coast through life following their fleshly desires, we must overcome those fleshly desires. And while our peace is deeper, it can be harder to hold on to. Today, I want to walk you through why that is and how to stay grounded in a peace that actually lasts. So let's get right into it. So why does it feel harder to follow Jesus? Isn't the yoke supposed to be easy and the burden light? We don't talk about this nearly enough. The moment that you said yes to Jesus, you also said yes to dying daily. Remember Luke 9:23 says, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." And that denial, it's not glamorous. It's internal, emotional, and constant. Secular people can live however they want and still say, "I'm at peace with my choices," but it's not peace, it's numbness, it's avoidance, it's the absence of conviction and the acceptance of inadequacy. But as a Christian, your eyes are now open to the eternal consequences of every single one of your actions. We are fully aware of the highest standard, so when we don't live up to that, we feel pretty guilty, and that guilt wears you down. So why don't you just try harder to live a perfect life? After all, during the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Therefore you shall be perfect just as your Father in heaven is perfect." But the more obedient you try to be, the more exhausted you tend to become. Because sanctification is quite heavy. You're not just avoiding sin, you're training your mind, rewiring your reactions, carrying burdens for others, and surrendering when everything in you just wants to take back control. When Jesus preached about perfection, it wasn't a command to be perfect. It was to show us how high of a standard that God has. That is absolutely impossible for sinful humans to live up to God's standard of righteousness, even in our own power. And here's the hard truth. The world is completely asleep to this. But you're now awake to sin, awake to your words, awake to eternity. And that awareness is a weight. Remember that ignorance is bliss. And now that you have the Spirit, you are not ignorant to the world. Now let's get real for a second. The world has created thousands of ways to stay in the dark, to feel okay without ever actually being okay. A nice glass of wine after a long day at work, doom scrolling hours before you're supposed to go to sleep, self-worship, manifestation, and the list goes on, and they also call it peace. But peace without truth is just seduction. It has massive distraction. It feels good, but it leads to destruction. Jeremiah 6:14 says, "They have also healed the hurt of my people slightly, saying, 'Peace, peace,' when there is no peace." Don't envy what looks easy. There's always a hidden cost to the easy road, and this one is an eternal cost. Most of what people call peace is just spiritual numbness in disguise. True peace in the Bible is not the absence of conflict, it's the presence of wholeness. In Hebrew, the word shalom, which means completeness, well-being, harmony, and restoration, it refers to everything being in its proper place, physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. In the New Testament, the Greek word pronounced eirene carries a similar meaning: inner rest, quietness of the soul, a right relationship with God. It's not a fragile emotion, it's the secure condition of a reconciled life made whole through Christ. It's also a fruit, and fruit takes time and work to grow. Remember Galatians 5:22, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering." Christian peace is different. It doesn't ignore sin, it confronts it. It doesn't numb pain, it redeems it. It doesn't come from comfort, it comes from Christ. Jesus said in John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled." You have to choose that peace daily, especially when the world seems louder, faster, and easier. So what do you do when it just starts to feel too heavy? Here's where I get practical, right? If you're feeling like you're carrying too much, remember this is spiritual warfare. You're not failing, you're fighting. Anchor in the word every single morning. Don't just read for comfort, read for correction. Let God renew your mind and recalibrate your thoughts before the enemy can even get to them. Talk to somebody who won't let you drift. Isolation fuels distortion. Community and fellowship sharpen you. It keeps you accountable and on the right track. Stop trying to be strong. God's peace doesn't come from performing, it comes from surrender. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you." So if it feels like your secular friends are thriving while you seem to be barely surviving, don't envy them. They're not carrying what you carry because they don't see what you see. Your eyes are open, your heart is alive, and that awareness hurts, but it's also holy. You weren't called to stroll through life comfortably. You were called to Christ, and that road is narrow, but the destination is eternal peace. If this video helped you feel seen, grounded, or even just a little more understood, hit that subscribe button. We share practical biblical content every week, and we're on a mission to provide discipleship to over 1 million people, and every single one of you matters. If you're in need of more support, you can find all of our links, including the Christian Mental Wellness group, below. Bye for now.